Scrappy Peeps, Suzanna here today to share with you a large photo layout created using the January Freckled Fawn kit. So that is the layout completed. I am using the Scrapbook kit, the pocket pages, as well as the other elements from the January kit. So I have this large photo. It's 12 by 7, printed on 12 by 12 paper. So I have a large format printer at home and am able to do that. I am going to cut this scrapbook. So these are the, again, a lot of companies are not doing 12 by 12 papers. So have cut 1-inch strips, and I'm trying to overlap that particular circle there so as to create a continuous look all the way across the page as a header. I like to anchor my pages, and I feel like if I just have white on the top and the bottom that things kind of float away. They don't really, but that's the feel that I get. And so that is why I am putting the header there. So then this particular piece of paper it has 5 giant labels on them, and so I want to use the labels to house bullet points or numbered, they won't be numbered, but like to do a list format of things about my husband. So this photo was taken during summer vacation at the end of August, and so I want to list 5 particular things about him from summer vacation. And I start with 3 because I thought that I was going to do something else that would go all the way across the bottom of the photo, but you will see that that evolves as my design concept evolves. So I really liked this wonderful. It was in the pocket card, but I wanted to use it as the title. And so I am going to fussy cut it in order to have it be a title that goes very similar to the lengths of those labels there. So I will skip through part of that. You do not need to see that literally. So the word wonderful is broken down into 3 different parts. But when it's fussy cut and it goes all side by side, you can't really tell that that is the case. So a great way of turning a pocket card into something other than a pocket card, right? Using those words. So I have changed up the order of the labels largely because I felt like having the teal on the teal made it very monochromatic up the top, and I wanted to get a little variety of color. So this is where I decide I want that whole sort of ladder step effect down that whole right hand side. The length of wonderful is very similar to the length of those labels, and so it created a nice stepping stone effect down the side of the layout there. So no visual triangles per se, because everything is dominant on that right side of the layout. It is going to need something on the left to cover that white space and even it out, but that is still yet to come in the layout there. So you can see how when I put these down, and I'm going to change things up a little bit, how the order really becomes green, purpley mauve, teal, green, purpley mauve the whole way down. So every month in the kit you get these label stickers. You also happen to this month get those 3 really cool, actually there's 4, I just didn't want to use the floral one, those 3 pennants. I have so much white space and space to write on this that I never intended for those to be anything more than decorative. And so they're just there again for that continuity of color at the top of the layout there, and then also sort of to break up the direction, the literal single drop down the page on that right hand side. So something as a design principle that you can think about to move your eye elsewhere. So something somewhat out of character to that character. You want character, but you need something that breaks up the monotony of that. So my plan all along with this, when I had set out to create the layout, was I want to incorporate this washi too, so that there are layers within those horizontal strips there. So some are going to go directly on the labels, and some are going to go below the label like I had just done there. Um, it has a very linear look with those labels, and so I am actually going to, you'll see coming up next, I'm going to rip some of the washi so that it adds just a little bit more softness to the very linear look there. Um, I thought maybe that I had covered up all of the white space on the right hand side, and so thought maybe Wonderful would look better down at the bottom left there. But then literally everything became way too uniform without that there. And so you'll see, so right now I'm using a paper eraser from, or an adhesive eraser from ThermoWeb, and I decide A, I can't get the adhesive off, and B, even if I could get the adhesive off, I don't like the look. So that adhesive eraser is perfect when you're working on cardstock. I am actually working on matte photo paper, and it doesn't quite do the job on matte photo paper, but again, super awesome for cardstock. So just pushing these, folding them over the edges, and again my intent is to go in and do some zigzag stitching. So A, to pull the black from the photo in, and also B, adding some texture and breaking up the linear lines that I have in there. I am very much one to try and get design principles, adhere to them. Well, not adhere to them, because they're not, they're guidelines, they're not rules, but I do very much hold those things into consideration when I am designing. So also this month, as every month, you get chipboard, and part of the chipboard this month are those gray stars that are absolutely awesome. I love the texture in them. They actually look like denim to me. You want to go in and you want to touch them. And so I'm going to sprinkle those into that right hand side. Again, it's just a different texture, which breaks that up a little bit. So in order to get that white space back into the photo, I'm going to shorten that label, and that does exactly what I had wanted to do all along. I wish I had done the same thing with the mauvey purple one that's at that junction between the photo and the white border, but it works. You needed a longer one. It was slightly longer than the others, and so it does stand out just a little bit. So, like I said, I needed some balance over here on the left-hand side. I don't need space for journaling, and my title is up on the top right-hand side, so this becomes more of a design principle space filler than a functional element to the layout. So I'm going to back this star for Starburst mauve paper with the polka dots, but I want to use the gray that is behind it to create some stars, and so I'm just going to cut out the backing for that so that I can do that and so get more bang for my buck with my kit there. And I am going to stitch. I feel like I need a little bit more black, and so I'm going to stitch around that Starburst paper there as well as over on the label. So I'm going to run to my sewing machine, and I will show you what it is that I've done with the stitching. So you can see there, I didn't lift my needle, I just dragged the thread over, and so I have some cleanup to do, which I'll start to show you, but literally there's nothing to do with the design here. It's more just cleaning up the layout. I thought about leaving the threads loose, and I have left a few of the threads in the front loose, and then taped off the others in the back there. I like that loose thread look oftentimes in my layouts there. So now it is time to add a little bit more consistency, some elements from the right hand side over to that left hand side. That chipboard piece there says "So Very Happy," and I want to pull those same colors into that left hand side to create the balance. I also like the way that that big rectangle sits underneath Michael and grounds him rather than him just kind of floating away there. So I have traced the outline of the stars, and so I'm going to create some coordinating stars that are slightly bigger. I will tell you that off camera, the teal stars, I am going to use a souffle pen, the black souffle pen, just to add a hint more black. I will put a third star in at the top right hand corner of Wonderful. Originally, and you'll see at the end of this video, my title is literally just Wonderful. But what I decided to do was I'm going to use the letters, so they are the tile alphas that are gray that match those stars. I'm going to put in this wonderful man, and then if I were being grammatically correct, I would probably put a semicolon, or I would have numbered each of the bullet points. I kind of use the stars as the bullet points, and each of those labels has things that he did for us, or praises about him during our particular vacation during the summer there. And so I will handwrite those in off camera. The other thing that I am going to do off camera, off of that wonderful pocket card, it had a green border around it, and I felt like I just needed to close the gap a little bit, or tie in what is going on the bottom left hand side of the page into the right hand side of the page. So I will use the heading from, you'll see it in the close-ups, use that shot of green there to just kind of pull that rectangle over a little bit and tie everything in. So now, just again, for a little bit more texture and color, I'm going to use the enamel dots that coordinate with the kit. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this large photo layout about my husband. So see, you can totally use these masculine pages with these more feminine colors, and turning the photo to black and white totally helps with that process. So if you don't already subscribe and are interested in the Freckled Fawn kits, be sure to check in the description box down below. If you have any questions about anything that I've said or done, please don't hesitate to also ask those questions in the box down below. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.